All right, so we're back. 2017, we're out mushrooming again with Jackie. And what we're gonna do this time around is we're gonna cover mushrooms from May till the end of July. So basically, right from the early spring till midsummer. We do have some videos available from summer to fall and then fall onward. And then you can kind of add this in that rotation and get a good idea of what you're finding here in Southern Ontario at this time of year. So hope you enjoy. What we'll do is we'll start with early May, finding some morels. Then we will move all the way up right to the end of July where we are today. Right, so it's about literally the exact middle of May. We've had some cool weather. Nights are about 7-8 degrees, but Jackie and I decided that we would come out and try to find some morels. We're getting warmer weather now, and I know by May 15th they got to be popping up here in Ontario. So I mean, we've just started. We didn't have a very good season for the black or gray morels, but we do know where the yellow morels grow, and we usually end up waiting a little while to see them. And and here we go. The morel season has officially begun for us. And here we are. You can see how hollow they are. They get bigger. We might find some bigger ones. We're going to keep looking. We've actually got an old crabapple tree right here that we're looking around, because, you know, we do find them here sometimes. And this is not a really heavy spot, but they grow here. We're going to keep looking and keep trying to find some more morels, because you found another one. Check it. She has found another one.
Smaller, but
a little one, yeah, a little one.
It's there.
But this is an hour drive from our home, so we're gonna take that for now. Nobody else really picks them out here, but I think this definitely is a gray morel. Nice to find one. It's not very big. Do I have my knife? Yes, I've got my knife. You notice the hollow base. Beautiful little sample. That's the typical size of the grays we find. The yellows will be a lot bigger. I mean, 4 or 5 times that size. So great. And if there's one, there's usually more. On this one, it's a nice big morel, nice big yellow. What a beauty. Now that is a yellow. We've got jelly fungus. It's very jellyish. This is a real big bloom of it though. It's like just gobbed on this branch. Incredible. There's Dryad saddle, pheasant back. This here is another edible mushroom. I've shown it in some of my other videos. So we found some morels, and this is another springtime wild edible that I like to find. You can find them in the fall, and this is about the size you want to harvest them. Not much bigger than what we've got here, because anyone who's tried to eat these things when they're bigger knows just how leathery they can get. It's literally like chewing a piece of wet leather. So small ones about this size, you can tell. Lots of open pores. Almost looks like a Suillus mushroom underneath in a sense, but definitely a totally different type of mushroom. Very nice. They get the name pheasant back because of the feathering pattern on the top. And that's about the size you want to keep. Beautiful mushrooms. Wild asparagus here. It's just growing out in the middle of this. It's just nowhere really. And normally, you know, these get spread by farmers' fields and things like that, and they just kind of spread throughout. That's usually where I find them, but this here is coming with me because asparagus is delicious. Mother's Day asparagus. Beautiful. At the end of our day, been out for about 2 or 3 hours or so, collecting some morels, and we've also collected some Dryad saddles. We've collected both the gray and the yellow morels. There's a nice gray, beautiful. You can see a little smaller, a little more dense and compact, and then you can see the yellow. The yellows are absolutely gorgeous. They're both gorgeous. We actually found some wild asparagus, just one, and some Dryad saddle as well. So it's a really nice end to our first real Morel hunt. But this is known as Turkeytail, Trametes versicolor. It's a medicinal mushroom, so yes, it's edible. Not something you're going to pan fry. More of something you're going to use in a tea or an extract. It's got pores underneath. It is a polypore, and it's growing on this dead stick right now. But I'm not going to get into the medicinal facets of it because there's a wealth of information available on the internet right now that you can just search up and get great detail on the medicinal uses. Another nice medicinal mushroom to find in the woods, and I might cut a piece or two of this off and bring it home for a tea. I might make a mix of chaga and turkeytail tea when I need it. I like to dehydrate it and keep it for long term. Sorry about the wind here. I'm going to try my best, but what we have here is a pavement mushroom. Agaricus, spring Agaricus, Agaricus bitorquis, I think the name is. They call it a pavement mushroom because it matures underground. It's a subterranean mushroom, terrestrial, and you can see here it's almost like the meadow mushroom. Pretty mushroom. They are edible, I believe. I've never tried them just because it's hard to ID them when they mature underground. I like to find these usually around the base of conifers and things. I'm just going to kind of leave this mushroom here. Not really going to go for it. It's got the pink gills, very similar to other types of Agaricus, other types of meadow mushrooms. And this is known as Ganoderma suga. And there's a good specimen right here that she has found. And she's going to show you some proper cutting technique on this one. It's getting a little later in the day. We decided to come out real quick to do some more harvesting. And, oh, beautiful. There you go. Some great specimens. But the mosquitoes are starting to get a little bit thick now. And I think it's time we're going to get moving. There's a little bit more there. And this is growing on an eastern Canadian hemlock. You can see it's almost always the dead trees. I find that they grow on the standing trees better than the downed dead trees. But yeah, it's used medically for a lot of different things. I'm not going to get into it too much right now. A beetle, some sort of coleoptera, but it is definitely known to be a medical mushroom. I think some people call it a hemlock reishi. Strobelomyces, which is old men of the woods. Now, this is a really nice specimen. It's not too old. It's not great either. This is actually a boletus. So there are, I think there's a shaggy or hairy hedgehog that kind of looks sort of similar, but it's also another edible. There isn't really anything deadly that looks like this mushroom, so it's, as far as edible mushrooms go, it's a pretty good choice for beginners. Very easy. You can see the dark flecking on top. Very unique. I'm just going to snap it off here. You can see that it's, well, this one's been eaten by slugs, and a unique feature of this mushroom is when it breaks, you should start to see this white flesh turning pink. Now, it might happen right away. It might take a couple minutes for it to happen, but you'll start to see a pinkish color to it, and that's a pretty good giveaway of the old man of the woods mushroom. Here you can see the sponge-like pores underneath, and it's just starting to turn reddish now. I think you can actually almost see it while I'm filming it. And yes, this specimen's a bit far gone. You don't really want to eat this one. The stems are kind of hard and woody. You're not really going to want to eat those either. It's really just the caps that you'll be eating. But you can really see it's starting to take on a bit of a fleshy look to it, and it's literally changing before our eyes. Quite beautiful, actually. Okay, so this here is Monotropa, Indian pipe, corpse plant. It's known as a few different names. Now, The beauty of this is that it's actually not a fungus, although it kind of looks like it. It does have a symbiosis with various fungi that have mycorrhizal relationships with trees. So they photosynthesize the energy, and this gets its energy from the trees. That's why you can kind of find them growing in such dark areas. I usually find them in deciduous hardwood areas, low light, not a lot of undercover. I find a lot of these up north as well. But they're not edible, they're not a fungus. They're nice to see. And another summertime plant that you only really see at various times of the year, so pretty unique. This is a indigo milkcap, just because I don't know of any other mushrooms that are so blue and that, oh, wow. And I'm almost positive this is a Lecterius. So I know it as the name indigo milkcap. Beautiful though. You can see the nice blue coloration underneath. I mean, that's a royal blue. It's beautiful. And this mushroom's already on its way out, so see, it's already mostly eaten by slugs. Another beautiful mushroom to add to the collection. Nice find. So here we have some nice chantrelles. Jackie happened to find a beautiful patch here. We're kind of kicking in and around the beech trees. We seem to be doing pretty good for them. They usually are a terrestrial mushroom. No, they are a terrestrial mushroom. They will be growing out of the ground. Look at this. So you'll never find these growing out of the wood. You'll find these growing from the ground. Let's take a look at that.
Oh, yeah.
And here you go. Beautiful chanterelle. False gills, does not have real gills. When you're harvesting them, you might actually notice a bit of a fruity scent to them. And this is a mushroom we really just started harvesting this year. We've seen them plenty of times. I actually had to talk to a colleague of mine to get some information about them. And he gave me some good tips on chanterelles. So here we are, out collecting them. And we happen to find a really nice patch here. If you'll just look up past the Tim Hortons cup there, we've got some there. We've got some more over there. I mean, it's a beautiful patch of woods. Jackie happened to find a really nice patch of chanterelles. Some golden chanterelles. And here she is harvesting some chanterelles. It's nice to have a Jackie with you when you're out mushrooming.
An extra pair of eyes.
Yeah, eyes. Jackie with some crown-tipped coral and some chanterelles she found over here by this shag bark. Nice find, Jackie.
Thank you. Let's add to the pile.
So here we are walking, and Jackie sees the that old chanterelle from the trail, and what does she find beside it? You won't believe it. 50 bucks. So mushroom hunting is paying off. It's covered in spiders. There's a spider nest on it. Well, still well worth it. I don't care about the spider's nest. I'll take that off, seeing as Jackie won't touch it. But hey, by the way, I just wanted to give you a quick tip with these chanterelles. There is a dangerous lookalike known as the jack-o'-lantern. They're similar, sort of. This has false gills. These are not real gills. It's got that fruity taste, or sorry, fruity smell. The jack-o'-lantern has real gills. The color is a little bit more orange colored, and the jack-o'-lantern actually glows in the dark. This will not glow in the dark. So just a couple key features when cross-IDing a chanterelle to a jack-o'-lantern. Now, I don't think there's much else that people get confused with. I've heard that people have gotten oysters confused with jack-o'-lanterns as well. So oysters and chanterelles are the only two that you're ever going to really get confused with a jack-o'-lantern, and it's still a bit of a stretch. So here we go. We just found this bolete. You can tell it's a boletus with the pores underneath, very sponge-like. It did not stain blue, which is definitely an ID feature when it comes to looking for edible boletus. There's another way of telling if a boletus is edible, because some boletus are edible, but they're so bitter they're considered inedible, and they won't stain blue, and they look just like an edible species. So what you have to do is kind of break a little piece off, and I hate to say it, but you got to give it a little taste. That's only do that if it meets the criteria of an edible boletus. And once again, they're not poisonous, but they can be considered inedible because of how bitter. So I'm going to show you a picture of what a bitter bolete will look like right up in the top corner here. And you know, with them, you got to give it a taste. You make sure that the skin on the cap doesn't just peel away. It does. If it peels away, then it's not a bitter bolete. The bitter bolete tend to the skin goes with the flesh. So another thing to watch out for when looking for boletus. Okay, so right here, we're beside an old oak tree. We've got some Craterellus here. Horn of Plenty, which is, oh, there it is. It's really easy to lose it. It's black trumpet mushroom. This is a choice edible. Another one that we've just started collecting this year. They dry out and dehydrate really well. And you'll usually find these guys by oaks. So they have a symbiosis with the oak trees. I think there's a few other deciduous you can find them by, but you're really going to be trying to target oak trees for these guys. Okay, so what we've got here is a Russula mushroom. I believe it's Russula medica, looks to me. Now, I've heard that this is a edible mushroom, to be honest with you. It's got common names like the sickener mushroom or the vomiting mushroom. So come on, I'm not really going to bother eating that with a name like that. Could be wrong, but I'm not going to try it. Now, we have found quite a few of these russulas today. Found some other russulas too. So I'm thinking they were the common yellow russulas, but we don't really touch the russulas too much. We don't mess around with them. It's just not one we're really going to bother with. But still, nice to see a splash of red on the forest floor at this time of year. And it's a beautiful mushroom to find, really. It's got a nice red flat to convex cap. When they're young, they just kind of look like a little red puff. They're not necessarily growing under specific trees. I just find them in hardwood forests, and it is a terrestrial mushroom, so it's going to be coming out of the ground. You won't find these growing off of wood. Okay, so I just happened to find this. You can see a young one here, more mature one here. These are Amanitas. Not positive, but to me it looks like Amanita excelsa. This is not an edible mushroom, so I believe it's poisonous. Still need to find though. I've seen these in red, yellow, gray, and of course brown. You'll find this growing out of the ground in the middle of the summer. It's a basidiomite, which means it's got basidiospores or bag-like or sac-like spores. This is a pretty common mushroom. You'll find it all throughout deciduous hardwoods. I've even seen it on the edges of conifers. So just another mushroom to add to the video. It's really neat to see what I mean about the stages of development with the Amanitas. See, basically young, older, 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 old, oldest. Pretty neat. What we've got here is a milky cap. If you break a piece off, you can see that it actually starts to drip this milky white substance. I don't really pick these ever, but it is pretty cool to see that whitish milk that kind of drips off. You can see it getting on the leaves there. Cool. Milky cat. Wow. The end of July, and I found a giant puffball. I usually don't see these till somewhere in September, so this is pretty cool. Not a common mushroom to find this time of year for us, but still, summer mushroom. Bright yellow, orangish, reddish, brownish patches on it sometimes. I'm just going to snap it off here. Oh. You can see these spongy, very boletus-like pores underneath, and it's very sticky, slimy. That there is Suillus americanus. It almost looks like chicken grease, and that'll cover the cap and the rest of it. Once again, an edible mushroom, not necessarily a choice edible, but Suillus americanus, chicken fat mushroom. Here's a nice specimen. They have a mycorrhizal relationship with eastern white pines, Pinus strobus, and you will see these covering the pine needle forest floor underneath those conifers. Good spring so far and a good summer. There's still all of August and September and October. If you're looking for mushrooms for those time of year, we've got a couple videos available, so you can move along to those. But glad you could join us. It'd make a real difference if you could like or subscribe. And just want to thank you one more time. It's been a really great season, and it's still going.